Jeff, you guys out rebounded Florida State the other day. I was wondering, this all hands on deck rebounding concept that you're pushing, is that working? How is that going?
Well, it worked in that game. We actually did a good job. I think they only had maybe 4 offensive rebounds for the game, and so I think we did a better job there with gang rebounding. We didn't do a great job defensively, but we did do a better job there. Hopefully, we can put it all together.
Jeff, you faced one of the better guards in the ACC Wednesday, and Appleby. What have you seen from his game that you feel makes him such an electric player?
Yeah, he's dynamic, man. He's first and foremost, he's really confident. I mean, very confident. He plays with a swag, with an edge. He has the green light. He's fast. He's crafty with the ball. He can shoot it. Um, he can change speeds. He's fast. He's really dynamic. I've been very impressed with him and watching him on tape. He plays with it seems like a joy also. Like he loves to play basketball, loves to compete, and I think their team takes that lead from him.
That joy that you mentioned, is that something that stands out when you see it more than other qualities on players?
I think so. I mean, I think you can tell when guys just have a spirit where they just love to play. They love to compete. They love the competition. They love being a good teammate. Like you can see it, and you can certainly see it in him.
Who are some other players that come to mind when
I
you
mean, I
look
think
at
we have guys that do that. I think, I think our team has played with a great spirit for most of the season and with joy, and that's why this group has been so fun to coach. Off the top of my head, in the league, the kid from NC State, Terquavian Smith, is that way. Just a joy to play basketball. Um, he's one off the top of my head. Right now, it's hard now that you put me on the spot, just thinking of guys, but he certainly stands out.
Jeff, they shoot it well as a team. How much is what he creates and maybe guys playing off other guys allowing open shots?
Well, I think it's a lot. Number one, they play. I think they're the fastest pace in the ACC, so they get up and down in transition. They're fourth in the league in steals, so that's another way they get in transition. And I think he and Hildreth do such a great job of creating stuff off the bounce. Um, with Appleby, it's more of off ball screens and in transition, where Hildreth, it's more one on one ISOs. He'll walk you down to the post and play there. And then when you put guys like, Appleby is shooting a great percentage, but Monsanto is unbelievable shooting the basketball, deep range. He's a guy that, in watching him on tape, you're a little bit shocked when he misses. Like it looks good every time. And he doesn't have a conscience. He's a guy that even if he does miss, he doesn't let it affect him. Like he has what you may have heard me say before, convenient amnesia. He's one of these guys that if he misses, that it's something wrong with the ball or the rim. It's not him, and he'll make an adjustment to it. So I think it's all of those things. I think it's the players, the spacing, and then their pace and Appleby and Hildreth creating for those guys.
Jeff, you're about to face one of the better shooting teams in the conference. You talked this morning about how, some of the times when, Florida State was hitting some of their shots and it broke some things down for you. Was this kind of a chance for you guys to look back and look at certain moments and say, hey, we have to keep playing our type of ball in these type of moments before playing that kind of
No, definitely, it's something we can learn from. Um, you know, Look, they're going to make tough shots. Wake is because they're good, and they have guys that's what they do. I mean, Appleby makes tough shots. Monsanto makes tough shots. Hildreth makes tough shots. Now here's a more twos, but he makes tough shots. Um, as long as we're playing good defense, we have to make a tough shot. And okay, let's come down and let's keep being us. Let's not let it affect us where we put our head down.
You guys your players are so invested in every game. But considering that, how did they bounce back from this loss?
I think we were good. I mean, guys came in yesterday. We were off, but just to get treatment. The spirit was great. The energy was great. They talked. They were upbeat, and excited about the next opportunity. And then when we got with them today, I felt the same thing. We've been pretty good this year, wins and losses, of moving on to the next thing, and I don't expect us to change right now.
Jeff, on Saturday, a couple hours after the game ended, Nelly came out to get some extra work in. What did you notice from him today in practice? How did he look? And I mean, just what does that mean to have a guy that is kind of cognizant of that type of thing and is able to put in that extra work even after a game?
Yeah, I mean, we've had guys that have done that, all year. I'm not surprised to hear that. I didn't know that. I'm not surprised to hear that. And he was good today. I mean, he was great spirit, great energy, positive, worked, got extra work in after practice, got extra work in before practice, came in with a coach, I think at noon. We practiced at 1. So not surprised by that. That's who he is.
When you're down 3 scholarship guys, how does that affect your practice? And I'm kind of getting at like guys like Aiden and KJ. How do they step up, and what kind of roles do they play in the practices?
They're very instrumental. Those 2 guys, Dior being able to practice, gives us another body. We're like most teams right now. We're a little bit banged up too. So we got, some guys that, aren't able to practice or go through a whole practice. We have to be cognizant of that. So right now we're at a period where it's mainly walking through some things we want to go through, maybe 1 or 2 things live. But really trying to take care of bodies and making sure we're ready mentally and physically for these games.
On Wednesday, the program's recognizing Jerome Lane for his big dunk. Do you remember where you were when you first saw that highlight way back when?
I don't remember where I was. I don't.
Have you ever played in a game where someone shattered a backboard like that?
Not shattered the backboard, no. I've never. I was at a game. I wasn't participating, but I was at the NCAA tournament game when Darvin Ham did it against North Carolina. Me, my dad, and my brother went to that game. It was in Richmond. My dad was the head coach at Old Dominion. We, unfortunately, that was the year we stunk at Duke, so we didn't make the tournament. My brother, we kind of knew he wanted to go to Carolina, so my dad scored some tickets. We went, and so I saw that one live, but
What's your reaction when you see something like that? As a guy who's played basketball so much and, who's been around the game your whole life, when you see something like that that's so rare, I mean, what do you think? What
it
goes
was
through your mind?
unbelievable. It was unbelievable. I remember looking and when it happened in that moment, being like, I can't believe this. I've never seen this. When you saw, Shaq do it, and I don't even think he pulled the whole dang on thing down. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's still, anytime you see it, it's still. I saw a high school kid did it the other day. I saw my son showed me. He's on YouTube all the time, and so it's still unbelievable to see.
I know you had a few legends in the house at Georgia Tech, and now we get to honor Jerome on Wednesday. How much does it mean that these former players come back and that you get to recognize feats like what Jerome was able to accomplish? And how much is that a tool for not just your current players, but even in recruiting?
Well, it's huge. Number one, this is their program. Guys that wore this jersey, that played and competed and fought, they have such pride in this place. They love it. They love their time here. And so anytime you can have those guys back around and to honor them for their achievements, it's something that's very, very special. This program has a really rich tradition. And a very, very good tradition. And we want our current guys to see it. We want future recruits to see it because we want them to know like they're part of something bigger than them. And to understand, like I've said this before, one of the coolest things that's happened during my time here is what we did this past summer when we had those guys come back and they played against our guys, against the current guys. And it was unbelievably cool. They spent time talking to them, teaching them. We went back to the locker room all together afterwards. We have a thing in our locker room, that we started once I got here about brick by brick. And we had those guys that hadn't done it. We had them sign the brick, with their commitment, to what we're doing. And so anytime we can have those guys back, it's awesome.
Who were some of those former players that got to come back over the summer?
Levance Fields was here. Sam Young was here. Who else? It was a lot of those guys. Brad Wanamaker. You guys put me on the stop. Put me on the spot. I can't remember. Jamel Artis was here. DeJuan was here. He didn't play. Yeah, he was here, and Chevy was here. He didn't play. But yeah, it was a lot. It was a really good group. They were good. They were good. They were really good. The dude that transferred when I got here, Ryan Luther, was here.
Carl Krauser?
No, Sheldon Jeter was here. So it was a really good group.
Play?
Yeah, I mean Jamel's playing professionally. Ryan Luther was playing professionally. Wanamaker just retired. He can still play. Levance could still play. So yeah, they could play. I mean, they were good. It was a good bump. It was good.
Do you ever run with your players?
Not anymore, man. No.
When
I'll
did-
shoot.
When did you stop? I mean, you had to do it when you were younger.
When I took the job here, when I had the press conference the next day, it was that evening, that afternoon, I played with the managers and the GAs in the back gym. And the next morning I woke up and it was the first time in my life my knees hurt. And I've not played since. I don't want to get hurt. So I'll play horse. I'll shoot with them, but that's it.
Are you gonna take Coach Bray up on the challenge?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm pretty wound up. I wish I could be as loose as him.
He said he could never beat you though. He said that after.
No, he couldn't. Not many can. Still.
Jeff, I wanted to go back to when you were talking about Nelly getting some work here on the court after the game. Guillermo told us last week how sometimes he'll just be in the facility and Tim O'Toole will just sneak up on him with a shield and just start going at him. He's like, I got to be ready at all times. What have you seen, not from just your staff, but also your players, just ways that you guys have engaged your players away from normal practice time?
Yeah, I think we've always tried to do that. This group has really allowed us to. They've responded to it. I've always believed since I got into this, since I became a coach, that and maybe it's because of the relationships I've had with my coaches. Started with my high school coach, obviously my college coach, and the assistants there, and then the relationship I saw with my father, with his players. I've always felt if they know you care about them, then you can really coach them. You can get on them. Because you care about them. It's not just what they can do, if you can make a shot, if you're winning, and things like that. And I think our guys understand that. They know it's genuine. They know it's love. They know that we're trying to help them in every aspect of their life get better, not just as basketball players, but as young men. But using the things that we all played, so we all know what it's like. We all know it's hard. We know what it's like when things are going well. We know what it's like when it's not. And so we want to try to help them navigate this. We have some older guys that can help them with it too now. But all of those things are important because the relationships are what gets you through, man, in tough times.
Do you think that have you seen a boost of that kind of coming out of those, we're still in the pandemic, but now that things have kind of loosened up because restrictions, Heather told us you made a point to be more in the lives of your players and that had to kind of slow down during the heat of the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean it's just a different time. I mean I remember last year, it was in August, and I went over just random. I just went over and met with Chancellor Gallagher, just talked to him. I hadn't seen him in over a year. I randomly ran into him in the parking lot out here, sometime in July. I was on the phone. I saw him. I waved at him, and then we text. And I was like, I haven't seen you. I'm just going to stop by. And we were talking about just the nature of college athletics now. This was right after the NIL and the one-time transfer stuff went into effect. And he said, I remember when we came and interviewed you, I remember and I know how important relationships are to you. That's changed. And that's probably going to really affect you. And it has. And so being able to do more things with them, to be able to be around and to something as simple, man, as just hang out in the locker room with them, have a meal with them, they come in my office and watch something. And it's not even basketball. It could be something from a movie or a clip or something like that. Those are the things that I enjoy, man. I remember one day, this is before the season, I'm sitting up there, and I have a little sitting area that I very seldom go in. But I was over there. I was on the phone, and Greg came in, and we just sat and talked. And all of a sudden, John came in, and we just sat and talked. And next thing you know, one other guy was in there, and it was just like three guys sitting around, four guys just sitting around talking. Like those are the things that I like, that I enjoy, that I missed during the time we couldn't do it.
You've had players over to your house several
Mhm.
times, right? Yeah.
Definitely. One of the reasons when we moved here, I looked everywhere trying to figure out, and I can walk to my house in 25 minutes. So if I catch these lights right now, you can't because there's all this dang on construction. But if I catch these lights right, I can be home in like 5 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes. One of the reasons I did it was two reasons why I did it. Number one, I wanted to be able to see my kids. Number two, I like having my players over. And so I figured if I lived all the way out, where my brother lives, which is in Cranberry, which is 45 minutes away, 40 minutes, the guys probably aren't coming over that much, especially with the cost of gas now. So it's been good. It's been good to be able to do that.
You talked about before, I think when we asked you about Thanksgiving, you said, "Oh, I handle the cooking."
Oh, yeah.
So do you cook for your players, and do they ever be like, "Yo, coach, can I get whatever this is?"
Yeah, I will cook for them. My wife will. Definitely. I love it, man. I love it. I enjoy it.
What's the thing they always? What do you think they request?
So the thing they did this summer, I made like a bunch of steaks, and it was some different cuts, and I didn't realize it, but like the guys that were over there were telling the other guys. So then I came back like a couple of days later, and they're all talking about it. And coach, when you making it for us, and when are we coming? So that's been a hit.